because we finished Arizona so late, it really hasn't been revamping. It's kind of just been like a little break, and I'm getting right back into it. But it's been good, man. I talk to Antico about it pretty much every day. We call each other, talking about when we're going down. We're going down early to spend some time with each other, man. And we really don't talk about how much, really the pressure, really. We don't really focus on that. We just pretty much focus on, having fun down there. We seem really excited about it, and I am really excited about it to get down there and start working. So, it's more of something I'm looking forward to, a joy, rather than there being a lot of pressure on it. Right. Right, right, right. Right. Honestly, yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut you off. But it's been really not too much learning. I feel like once I get down to early work with Cheo, then I'm gonna get a lot of learning, and it was more reps. I'm getting used to the route running, reading the ball off the bat. So it wasn't really too much learning. It was more getting more comfortable with reading stuff off the bat, and trying to make those tough plays.
At what point in your progression did you think that might be kind of looking at the depth chart and having a guy like Arenado? Do you
Mhm.
think that might be a future for you, and how did that kind of develop? I guess over the last year.
Right. It was always in the back of my head. Honestly, really good, really talented guy like him. Honestly, it can't not be at the back of your head. But it really wasn't something I was focusing on. I was just trying to make the best out of the situation that I was in, playing the hardest game. Playing my hardest, working my hardest. So when the switch came, it felt pretty good to see that there's a spot where they can want me at. And definitely, it's been all smiles. It really hasn't been too much worry about it. Honestly, don't worry about it too much. I'm more of a whatever happens happens kind of guy. And it's really what I can control. I just try to keep calm, play my game, and then if things work out, it works out. And it's obviously my dream to play, but I can't get too worked up if things don't go so poorly. I just got to keep on pushing. So it's really not too much thinking about it. It's more of I'm just not too much of a guy to worry about something like that. It's something that I definitely had to work on. I failed a lot in high school, trauma ball, so I used to really get worked up about it. But it kind of learned just to mellow out, and not as of right now. It's just the type of person I am.
How have you become comfortable over the years, usually being one of the youngest guys on any team you're playing
Um, Man, that's tough. I've actually ever since I was little, I was always playing up. Usually 1, sometimes 2 years up. So I actually just more comfortable for me to play up. I just got used to it. So it really wasn't something I guess learned over the years. It's just something that I've always been doing.
Then Arizona, Jordan, I asked you about your goals for this year. You said you hadn't said it yet.
Right.
You talked again.
Right.
You want to share that?
Ah, man, you caught me again, not knowing it. But hey, you know what? How about this? If you ask me during spring training, I'll have an answer for you. How about that?
All right.
Yeah.
We missed a lot of your Springfield teammates. The play you had, ball goes over your head from the warning track, you throw the out at second base. What are your memories? How did you remember that play? Because they all remember it. How do you remember it?
It felt like a pretty good play, and I remember Mason. I think I could just hear Mason pretty much yelling two two two. Like, yeah, I think that was really him because I didn't know what was going on behind me, but he was really vocal and he let me know what to do and where he was. So he made it really easy for me. So all I had to do was just throw it to his glove. But yeah, it was a really cool play. Mason and I talk about it quite a bit sometimes.
A lot of them said they were surprised how easy the transition was for you. Was it easy? I'm going from third to outfield.
I'm glad to think that, but no, it wasn't easy at all. It's definitely tough for me, and still I'm not, all the way where I want to be yet. The routes are tough, reading the balls are tough, but yeah, I feel like all I can do is just work on it, and I'm really excited to work with Cheo in the outfield as well. I feel like he's going to give me a lot of progress out there in the outfield, just learning the basics. Right. I mean, it's made it a lot easier actually having people working with you. I've played with Tink for a pretty big tournament in high school, and then I played with Mason at some events. So it was really nice having people that you already knew. It made you a little bit more comfortable because, as you guys can imagine, coming out of the draft, being playing your first full season, there's a lot of nerves, and there were a lot of nerves. Even for some, I usually don't have usually too many nerves, but there are still nerves for me. But having them with me definitely made it a lot easier. Having people to talk to who are sharing the same experience as me is really easy. It wasn't really easy, but it made it a lot easier for me in the transition and getting more comfortable.
Did you face either of them when you guys were?
No, no, no. I was actually I was fortunate not to face Mason or Tank. They were they were really good. They probably would have made me look bad, but in high school. But yeah, they were always on my team when I played with them in high school. And then Mason at one event we were playing. We had 4 different teams playing at one event, and he pitched when he wasn't facing my team. Thankfully. But I never went around to face them. And every time I played with Tank, I was on his team.
On what Daniel was asking about what it meant for you guys coming in together.
Right.
What's it mean for y'all to grow together? I know Tink is not at the same level, but
Right.
I mean, you guys are in a lot of the same conversations, cross paths,
Right.
we're in the same uniform in the spring. What's it mean to grow together?
It's the same thing, man. It means a lot. Having him on the journey with me, and even when we were all in the Arizona Fall League, so we grew a lot there as well. Facing guys from all levels. There's some guys from the MLB getting work. From all different levels. We definitely grew there, and it's been real fun. Connecting with them, and then it would be at the field. 7 hours, 8 hours a day playing baseball. Then we'd come back and play video games together. Like all of us in the same room. Nobody was talking to each other. We'd all just be playing video games. So I mean, some things that we do, but it's just our way to connect with each other, and it's real special for us.
Jordan, you've probably been asked this before, so I apologize, but I don't know the answer. Who growing up was your favorite baseball player, and who
Right.
growing up was your favorite player in any sport?
Okay. Actually, I don't think I've ever been asked for any sport, but favorite baseball. So I'm from Atlanta. Favorite baseball player, Hank Aaron, Chipper Jones. Hank Aaron, when I met him, so that's why he was my favorite. I obviously didn't see him play, but Chipper Jones, growing up, was my favorite from Atlanta. Switch hitting third baseman or power hitting third baseman. That's what I aspired to be. So I looked up to him. And then, wow, favorite athlete, man. I got to think on that. There's a lot of good ones. I guess I'll go ahead and be basic and say Michael Jordan. I like watching him play, and I hate admitting it because everybody thinks it's a basic answer, but I would go ahead and say Michael Jordan, man. I think he was a freak athlete.
And I don't know if you talked about this also publicly, but figure follow up on you.
Right.
Hank Aaron?
No.
Where was that? What was
So
that?
it was my grandfather actually was an event, and I was real little, so I don't remember too much of it. But he actually signed a ball from me, and there's actually a picture. And if you talk to my dad, I can give you his info. He has a picture of it if you want to get your hands on that. But yeah, there's a little event, and I met him there. So I remember looking up to him. My grandfather telling me all the stats, man, and I was just like the happiest kid in the world.
Fun have you had watching your family this weekend? You got both grandmas here, and
Right.
they're loving it. It seems like have you enjoyed watching them interact with Cardinals?
Oh yeah, man, it's a lot of fun watching them. They are big fans. They are big fans, and ever since I got drafted by the Cardinals, you saw them all decked out in their Cardinals gear, man. So they're
Braves gear in the back of the closet.
my dad threw out his Braves telephone case that he had the other day. So yeah. I mean, we don't really talk about it anymore.
What's it like? Do you feel the momentum from the fans? I mean, sometimes there's a prospect who comes up, you haven't really heard a lot about them, but they've all heard of you and going out on the caravans. Do you feel the momentum of them kind of pushing you?
It definitely gives me something to play for. Them cheering for me, man. It just makes me even more want to get to St. Louis and play for them and put on a show for them. So yeah, I guess in your question, in the long run, it absolutely does push me towards being a better player.
You've had a lot of success. The Arizona Fall League took your season a little bit deeper, a little bit longer.
Absolutely.
How do you feel like your endurance has changed over the last couple of years? And what was the toughest thing about the Arizona Fall League?
Definitely, it was. I think the toughest thing about the Arizona Fall League was having that week break before it. And I mean, I wouldn't have said this at the time, but I think as of right now, I would much rather have continued playing. At the time, at the end of the season, I would have said no. But I think what the difference is pretty big. In my first full season, I only played 87 games. But this year, I played like around 120 plus the games played in the Arizona Fall League, which I am very excited about because it's building me up, and I want to be that player who plays 162 games in a season. So I'm definitely very excited about that, change in endurance as well.
When people see the size and they think home run hitter, but I think you had 1 month last year where you didn't hit 300.
Right.
How much do you pride yourself on being a complete hitter, not just a guy who is all or nothing with home runs?
I want to be a complete player. So obviously, it means a lot to me to not just be like a power hitter. I want to be a hitter in general. I want to, when things get tough, to be able to put the ball in play and get on base. So it does mean a lot to me to be a hitter and not just be like a power hitter. And I work a lot on my contact as well. And I guess if I get into detail, I like to put the machine on as fast as it possibly can go and scoot up a little bit and just try to put the bat on the ball, poke it somewhere. And honestly, there is some things where sometimes where I just put the pitching machine to a fastball in the middle so I can crush it. But I also do work on, sometimes when I'm feeling a little beat at the plate, just still be able to get a hit out of it. So it's very important to me.
You mentioned not wanting to focus on the things that are beyond your control, like
Right.
when call up and things like that.
Right.
With this opportunity in spring training, what are you hoping to show the major league staff now if they're going to get a chance to really get a longer
Right.
look at you than they've had before? What do you want them to see about Jordan Walker in this Jupiter experience?
All I really want is for them to see that I'm ready to play. And whenever they need me, I'm ready to go up there and perform.
You mentioned your idols, Aaron and Michael Jordan. Where does your first name come from?
Oh, so my mom named me Jordan, and actually she hasn't got. She probably did tell me. I probably forgot. She used to tell us when we were little what our names meant. And my middle name, I'm named after Alexander the Great for my middle name. But Jordan, she definitely told me, and let me get back to you on that because I don't know.
So it's not Michael Jordan.
No, absolutely not. No, my mom, no, she's not a fan of sports, so it couldn't have been Michael Jordan.
So, did you play all infield?
Pretty much. Mm-hmm.
So do you think of yourself as an infield?
Not anymore. I feel very versatile. And actually, if you guys are surprised, I played some shortstop in high school. I was a shortstop pitcher. So, I mean, now I feel like I can play pretty much anywhere.
How about your base running?
I don't think anybody wants to hear about that. But, I feel very confident in base running. Actually, somebody who helped me with base running is Mason. He's a very smart player. He definitely tells me, he gives me tips on how to run. And it's easy for him, man. He's explosive and he's a lot smaller than me, so he has less to move. But he's gives me a lot of tips about base running, and then I kind of try to catch people off guard. There's a lot of pitchers who told me that I faced this year who told me that I snuck a base off of them because they weren't expecting me to steal, and I kind of hope to keep it that way. I feel like I'm a little bit faster than what I put on, and so I kind of hope to just help the team by getting some bags, by catching people off guard. But I'm definitely working on being more explosive and getting faster. So I want to be a complete player and not just be a hitter, but somebody who can run as well.
What does it do for you to be here at Busch Stadium and see the end goal? How much does that drive you to get a chance to look out on the field?
Right. Absolutely, man. I got a chance to a real long look at the field earlier today, man, and it really is giving me another push. I'm like, I'm ready. I'm all my, I'm ready to get going. I'm ready to try to make the team. So just being here gives me another extra drive to try to make the team, and I'm ready to go with St. Louis.
Jordan, when you see just this last season, for example, across baseball,
Right.
same age, 20 years old,
Right.
majors, Michael Harris second.
Oh, yeah.
Atlanta.
Right.
Does that give you some comfort, confidence at your age at the same time that these guys made the league
Right.
go that quickly and adjust it?
Right. I've always felt confident in myself, but seeing them do it is also really nice as well, man. They're really, really talented players, and of course, like seeing them say, like, I can do that too. That's obviously something that goes across your mind. But I guess as if I'm pretty confident in myself already, so I already felt like I could produce in the big leagues. And I'm confident with that. I'm confident in my teammates. I've had a lot of help to get here, so just all of that built up. It just gives me the confidence, and I'm ready to go.
Jordan, before Mason's throw in the futures,
Right.
What were your conversations with him? I'm sure he was kind of telling you as
Yeah.
well as your other teammates about what his plan was.
Yeah, he said word for word, if I get a ball, I'm going to let it loose, and he did, and I knew it because as soon as it was hitting him, I was like, okay, here we go. And I was like, and then I didn't know how hard it was. It seemed pretty firm, and I know he can throw it harder, which is the scary part about it. But man, it was so cool, and I knew if I got a ground ball, I was going to try to beat him. We actually had this conversation. We were trying to have a competition. I knew he was going to beat me, but having that competition, I can't let his head get too big. You know what I'm saying?
Jordan, what excites you about the Cardinals offense having guys like Arnado, Goldschmidt, a lot of depth?
Right. It feels really good. And also the addition of Wilson Contreras, man. I've seen that the stuff that he did, and he's really, really good. And obviously Goldschmidt and Arenado, man, really, really talented players. I know growing up watching them actually. And actually, a lot of my coaching and fielding at third base in high school and shortstop was comparison to Arenado. They're like, pretty much, why can't you do that? I'm like, Coach, I'm like 15 years old. And then, but yeah, man, having them in the lineup is going to be a real joy, man. And I'm really excited to see what St. Louis can do this year.
What the talk? I mean, you're a pro at this already, but the season is long. Tell me about the length of the minor league season.
Oh, it's tough, man. And we don't play nearly as many games. But I'm going to go ahead and say we have it tougher because they get to fly. We had to ride on a bus for 16 hours. But, that's all jokes. Don't quote me on that. But, yeah, I think it really is tough. So playing 6 games in a row and then hopping on a bus to go back on the bus trip, I think it puts a wear and tear on everybody's bodies. But, they expect us to be ready. And I fully expect the team, to adjust to it. And there's times where I felt a little bit fatigued. At times, and I feel like I didn't get as much sleep, but I feel like just adjusting to that lifestyle is something you need to do with minor leagues because no one said it was easy, and it's definitely not.